Well, well, well. Welcome back, gentlemen. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the GEPRC SMART16. I don't know anything about this quad. I haven't opened it yet, but once we do open it, we're both going to be learning together here. OG sent me the link for this quad late one night and asked me if I had ever seen or heard of it, to which I responded no. But I went ahead and ordered one anyways because I was kind of interested to see if it would freestyle or not. So I will open this up real quick, get it bound up, and take it outside, give it a rip, see what happens, and then we'll come back in and talk about it a little bit. So now that we have had a few flights on this, let's go ahead and have a chat, shall we? The frame held up pretty good in crashes. It's a little flimsy, but it also, like I said, it held up well. No splits, no cracks, no bends, no breaks, nothing yet. The motors are GEPRC's 11,000 kV 0803 motors, and that is spinning the Gem Fan bi-blades. The camera appears to be the Cadex Ant, which is a great camera. This is not running a Whoop board, this is running a proper little micro stack in there. Overall, the way this is all put together is very nice, it's very simple. It kind of reminds me of a larger version of this guy, the iFlight Baby Nazgul. Now some downsides that I noticed. So after my first real good crash and tumble in the driveway, I flew back to myself just to give everything a once over and see if there was any damage I could notice. I didn't notice anything cosmetically until I flipped it over and I realized that 3 of the 4 stack screws were all severed. So these 3 were severed and this one was the only one left. So I have the bits and pieces of what is left of those stack screws here. So they just kind of fell apart on the first crash. The head of them just ripped right off. So these, they're not very strong as far as the durability of them. So those broke pretty easily. I just replaced them with some metal screws and used some nuts on the top to hold everything together. And that seems to have worked just fine. The second thing I noticed is when you are flying with batteries using a pigtail and you have your pigtail coming out the back here, sometimes it leaves a little too much of these wires kicking around back here, and I did after a couple of random tumbles and stuff, I had these wires get stuck on a prop where it wouldn't spin, and I just had to go over and get it. Just something I figured I would mention. They did not include extra stack screws, so I had to use my own, so just keep that in mind. If you do happen to break the stack screws, which I did very easily, make sure you have some replacement screws around. As for flight times, I flew it on these 380 GMB 1S cells, and just 2 of them together, obviously. And these were getting me just about 2.5 to 3 minutes of pretty rough freestyle, pretty aggressive freestyle outside. I was using them in this TPU mount, as well as just using the battery strap that it came with, just as a little extra something to hold them in there. And then I flew it on these 450 Race Day Quad 1S cells, and these actually fit into the TPU mount like a glove. So once those are in there, I didn't actually need to use the battery strap. Now that we have had a chance to fly it and get a closer look at it, what do we think? As far as their hardware choices for this build, I think it's pretty good. I think they really did a great job as far as the powertrain in this quad. It handles the 2S power really well. The tune is pretty spot on. One thing I did notice is that all of the motor screws were kind of just slightly loose. I had at one point a small tumble in the grass, and then when I took off again, I flew for a few feet and then just fell out of the air. I thought I threw a prop, because that's kind of what it felt like, and then when I went over, I realized all 3 of my motor screws for one of my motors had completely come out. So I went through and put new motor screws in, but I also went around and tightened all of the other screws on the frame, and that's when I realized a lot of them were less than hand tightened. So I'm not sure how that happened, but if you get one, just double check your screws. For those who are curious, I do imagine you could probably carry a Peanut or an Insta360 on here fairly easily with a TPU mount on the top, and then just strap your batteries to the bottom, or vice versa, although I'd probably put the camera on the top. So if you are someone who's on the fence between like this and the iFlight Baby Nazgul, if I had to choose for you, I would probably go with the GEPRC SMART16. I got longer flight times out of it. Flight characteristics were a little better, a little more responsive. Just having the 2S power, I think, really was the kicker to make this a better flying quad. Please leave any questions or comments you may have down below, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. I will also leave a link in the description if you'd like to pick this quad up for yourself. It is not an affiliate link. This quad was paid for out of pocket, and nobody had any influence on any of my opinions about it. I really do think it flies that well. Until next time, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one.